We're going to dive into the latest Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite trailer for our first look at 4 newly announced fighters, like Haggar, Nemesis, Frank West, and everyone's favorite wall crawler, Spider-Man. First, we have Mayor of Metro City, Mike Haggar, and the nemesis of Jill Valentine from Resident Evil 3, well, Nemesis. If you'll remember, the main story in Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite features the merging of the worlds of Capcom and Marvel, and here it seems like we have a merger of Resident Evil's Umbrella Corporation on the Capcom side and the Advanced Idea Mechanics on the Marvel side, giving us the AIM Umbrella control room. MODOK is featured prominently in the middle, but in the background we can see the Umbrella logos on the wall and some Resident Evil-style BOWs in pod chambers. Moving on to our first team of Haggar and Nemesis. Haggar's moveset seems mostly familiar here, but he's got a couple of new tricks involving barrels, which amusingly break just like they do in Final Fight. Nemesis too looks familiar, being able to soak up multiple hits to deliver his own, and also retaining many moves and his hyper combo from Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3. Now on to Frank. I've covered Wars You Know West from Capcom's Dead Rising franchise and Spider-Man. Interesting to note that while Hawkeye's changed his costume to reflect the more modern version of the character, and one that more closely resembles the MCU version, Spider-Man's costume and look seems relatively unchanged outside of being adapted to Infinite's graphical style. But anyway, Spidey's been in just about every Marvel-themed Versus game, and his moves in this trailer aren't going to surprise anyone, but this tag to Frank is real interesting. Spider-Man starts his Crawler Assault Hyper Combo, immediately tags in Frank, who takes a quick swig of a drink, then sets up a camera on a tripod. And while both Spider-Man and Frank lay on the punishment, the camera continues to take pictures as Frank levels up. In Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3, Frank had to input a command for each picture to level himself up, so this seems like an interesting twist on an already interesting character. So now we see what looks to be Spider-Man's Level 3 Super, which features an amazing throwback to the very first Sam Raimi Spider-Man movie, where Spider-Man's fighting Green Goblin inside the burning building and dodges the pumpkin razors exactly like this. Finally, Gamora and Thanos have already been officially announced, but we now get to see their playstyle. Gamora is fast, fluid, and very acrobatic, using both knives and guns in her offense, and is even able to do this nasty-looking cross-up. More importantly, though, we get a look at the Mind Stone, which we have not seen before. It's one of the 6 Infinity Stones that you can equip your team with at the start of a match to give both of your characters 2 special abilities, an Infinity Surge and an Infinity Storm, that can both change the tide of a match. The Infinity Surge ability of the Mind Stone is a quick psionic grab attack that slams the opponent into the ground and mentally stuns the opponent when it connects. The Infinity Storm ability of the Mind Stone seems much more straightforward. Immediately maxes out its wielder's hyper gauge, which leads into Gamora's hyper combo to close this out. And that's the latest trailer for Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite. Thanks for watching, and for all things fighting games, keep it right here on IGN.